Good afternoon, loves. This is Living Triumphantly. Thank you for joining me on tonight. I decided to film because there is an issue that I am very interested in. I don't have it mastered yet, but I have a lot of advice to give. And today I would like to talk about how to be a happy wife in a marriage. This is a very important subject because so many of my friends and just random women ask questions. I've been married for quite a number of years, over 15 years, and so I am very happy to share some of the things that I've learned through these years with you gals. And so I have very good advice that I think that you may kind of know, but it may not be so in your face until you hear it again or something like that. So yeah, I've been married for a while, and I would say we pretty much have a happy marriage. We have our differences. We're not the same people. And we have our differences of opinions and different ways and methods. And we are just a basic marriage, just like anybody else who have went through our ups and downs and continue probably to go through ups and downs. That's just what marriage is all about, good times and the bad times. So I would like to encourage some of you ladies out there who have either begun a new marriage, or this will be your first time being married, or you're just on the trail of being married, the process, and just maybe going through the motions. So let me be an encouragement to you today and actually give you some kind of tips to help you continue on in your marriage, okay? The first thing I would love to start off by saying is that you cannot do anything without Christ. You can try to keep doing it your way, but you will be a failure at everything and anything if you try to do it without Christ. I mean, you'll last so long and then you'll stumble. So that's my number one. That's my basic for every video I'm going to do, that you just need to seek God by growing your relationship with Him. We're not talking about church here, just growing your relationship with Him, and He will guide you as He have done me. So let's go ahead and get started tonight. And I'm filming tonight because, guys, we have been super busy since we've moved. I'm now in my breakfast area, which I didn't want a breakfast area, and I turned it into a sitting room. So I'm sure I will be posting videos of our home really soon. But we've been moving, vacation, throwing parties, barbecues, all kind of stuff. So I just have not been on my YouTube game lately. Ask you guys to forgive me, and I know that you've noticed my new cut here. I'm loving it, very easy. But I've had it for about 2 months now, 2 to 3 months, and so I think that it is time for me to start letting it grow out natural. And so I will keep you guys posted on my new look. But let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I would like to tell you guys, number one secret, which is this has to be like a 2-part. It should be a 5-part. There's so many rules and regulations when it comes to marriage. It's ridiculous. But these are things I've picked up and placed in my bag of happiness along the way. But one, and this is out of order, but an important rule would be first to shut up. And ladies, I know that's blunt, but you know I'm right. You need to learn how to control your mouth. And here's my take on it. Basically, my husband and I got married at a young age. We were engaged for a year. We got married and so forth. But we had a lot of growing up to do. And one of the things I had to learn was to shut up. I pretty much figured it didn't take long to figure out who the most at the time mentally grown up was at that time, as far as I would put it, or maybe because I'm older than my husband, but who kind of had things, I don't know. I was, we were just at different phases. We first got married. My husband was playing video games. He was working. Absolutely, he was responsible in that area, but he was playing a lot of video games still while I was doing dinner and doing all this stuff. But I wasn't working in the beginning. We were on just two different levels, I think, when it came to things of importance. And sometimes you feel like you kind of you're raising your big brother, and that's how it was kind of to me when we first got married. And I'm sure he had times where he felt like he was raising his little sister, because I was very immature as well. But what I learned is, although you have a lot of insight as a female, as a woman, as a wife, into your marriage, does not mean that you need to overstep your boundaries. And a lot of women have this problem, and I was one of them, with keeping my mouth shut. It's very important to control your mouth. So what I've learned basically is, when a situation arises, to a certain degree, more likely it usually goes, I will offer my opinion and kind of weigh matters. And, oh, well, don't you think we should do this? Or what about this? Or, well, what do you think will happen if we do? I just throw it all out there, and whatever he takes, he takes, and whatever he doesn't, he doesn't. And without any emotion, I throw my hands up and be like to myself mentally, this is kind of like what I do. Okay, you take the lead, because he's still the male. He needs to lead. I don't want to be in a marriage, truthfully, where I'm leading everything. I don't want to be the man. That's what I got married for. I want him to take lead. So, like I said, I throw my ideas out there. Pretty much stop all the smart comments. Like, we have a relationship, we tease a lot, and I had to slow down on that, because that can kind of overtake you as well. But we still joke around and so forth. But the smart comments and things of that nature need to get under control. There's a time for that, there's a time not. And pretty much just let him take the lead, offer your little 2 cents, and then call it a day. Because in the end, when the situation goes in flames, it's not your fault, because he led, not you. So that's number one. That was my take on it. Just watch your mouth. Who cares what you think? Watch your mouth. You don't have to be right all the time. You don't have to tell everything and control. I think what the problem is that women with their mouths really have a problem with controlling it, because they want to be in control about every little detail. And so once you let that go, or ease up, day by day practice, just letting him have the lead, then he'll step into that position that you had always wanted him to. Step number 2 is, let's see here. All right. Do not keep score. I know y'all see me looking down on my pad. I have so many, like I said, rules. But second rule is do not keep score. What I mean by that is that if he jacks things up, if he says something to you out of place, if he does this wrong, if he does that, don't keep score. Stop keeping notepads in your mind of what he does wrong. Because what happens is it's a buildup, and once the list is too full, you explode, and it leads to anger, animosity, strife, and it just leads to negativity in the relationship, period, because you're always holding on to old things that he did. Now, I'm not talking about from yesterday or anything like that, something that is affecting you now. You're going to have to let it go. But what I am talking about is that, like, if he messes things up, you just keep months down the road, weeks down the road, keeping that in mind. Try to train yourself. Of course, all of this is with Christ's help. You can't do it without him. To let things go. Because when you keep score, you're constantly reminding yourself of things that he done wrong, and who are you to judge him? Who are you to keep score? Like, God does not do that to us, so don't do it to him. It's very simple. It's hard to train yourself to do. It can be accomplished, people. Everything I'm telling you almost is something that I've already did myself. So I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already done, and I had to learn the hard way. So that'll be rule number 2. Do not keep score, but focus more on positive aspects of him. Focus more on things that he do right, and gently correct him. Because I say correct or gently lead him in the right way. Okay, don't take over or anything, but gently show him a better way. If he's doing it wrong, gently show him with a gentle spirit on how to do it correctly. Don't be so brutal. There's a way of doing things, ladies. There is a nice, lovable way of doing things. And listen, I wanted to do this because, truth be told, in my mind, my husband is still annoying. He is like a brother to a certain degree. I don't know if it's because we got married at a young age. He is annoying. He does things, okay? We share bathrooms together, people, and we share bedrooms together, okay? So both of us have annoying habits. So this is my view. I love him as my man and my husband, but he is like so annoying. I could point out things. I just look at him and go, so that never changes, I don't think. But I'm not saying that he is, because I'm listing these things, we're just perfect. No way at all. It's so much, So I just still want to encourage you guys to hang on in there. Hang on in there. I'm laughing at you all. All right, next step. Not step, but the next rule would be to, let's see. For you to get a life. Ladies, sometimes we're so caught up in our family life, in our husband's life, and everybody else's life that we forget to have one ourselves. So, number 3, what are these things called? The number 3 most important thing to remember will be to get a life. So, like I said, you can get so wrapped up into everybody else that you forget about yourself. And I know that I'm not the only one, but when I was at home mom, I really did lose myself. I forgot every single detail of things that I love to do, because you get so wrapped up in them. You love them so much, you get so wrapped up into them and your support and all these other aspects of being a mom and a wife, and it overtakes you, and when you look up, you forget. So I would definitely encourage you guys to get a life, because once you get your own life, you will stop being so consumed by their problems. Some things just have to be worked out by themselves. You can't do everything, and that's a major rule, is to learn that you can't do everything. So I would like to say and offer suggestions of join a book club, go do some things. Like, I love to skate. I haven't been skating in years, but that's one thing I love to do. I have been doing other things like socializing and going to the movies and stuff like that with my female counterparts. But I would say do things that you enjoy, like reading or watching your favorite shows. Don't get too caught up in those though. But watching your favorite shows and going for walks and talking on the telephone or going shopping and different things that you like to do. So get a life, get some friends, go volunteer somewhere, go do something. And that will stop you from getting a whole lot of trouble, because you're actually independent, you're doing your own thing, you're happy, you're not miserable because you're so focused on everybody else's and your family problems but your own. Just enjoy yourself, and I promise you, you will become a much better, a pleasant person to be around. So that will be step number 3 to get a life, okay? Step number 4 would be to serve him like you would serve Christ. Okay, this is huge. I remember I went to God about something about my husband, because let me see what my next step is. I went to God about something about my husband because I'm a tattleteller. And when he bothers me, God has told me God has taught me not to go to my friends all the time about, oh girl, he did this and he did that. So one thing that I know to do is go to God and tattletale. I really literally do, and say, God, he did this and he did that. I sound like a 2-year-old, but I don't care, because I'm going before the Lord in my wholeness. And so the Lord accepts me for right there, and he prefers for me to come talk to him before he would like for us to go splatter it out to everybody else. So that's good. So, and literally he kept telling me, I saw that whole entire week, to serve him as you would me. And I told him when I first saw it while I was reading the Bible, I said, I would do anything for you. Like, I would do absolutely anything for you, Lord, because you're not annoying. You're not a pessimistic somebody. You don't get on my nerves, And I started laughing, but I was dead for real though. I was not playing with him. I was like, there is nothing I would not do for you, Lord. And so that kind of stuck with me. He kept showing it to me all week, and he really wanted me to really just stand on that, to serve him as I would the Lord. And boy, would I go out for the Lord. When you sit back and think of that, it's so powerful in itself. Like, if you served your husband like you served the Lord, we wouldn't even have to have this videotape here. I mean, there would not even need to be books on problems with your husband, really. But you would, that in itself should just be the entire YouTube video right here. It should be the whole vlog or the whole segment here, because there's no excuses. If he says that to you, just think about that. There's no excuses for nothing. That means you would serve him wholeheartedly. You would serve your husband wholeheartedly. You would be there for him without complaints, without judgment. You would be there for him without anything. I mean, just all the bad stuff gone. I mean, for me, as I was trying to remember that, I really picked up on a lot of things I was slacking in. I got more to do, because I am me, and I definitely need to be tamed in a whole lot of areas. I am a character myself, people believe that, but there's a whole lot of things that he deserved that God just kind of made me reflect on, if I would just serve my husband like I would serve him. And I just really didn't have anything to say at that point. So that means pick up after him. Yes, you feel like you're a mom all over again when you do stuff like that, but pick up after him with no complaints, and fix his plate with no complaints, and give him extra juice with no complaints, and wash his clothes, or whatever your roles are, whatever you do, just like intensify it and put love in it though, because serving him as I would Christ would definitely involve loving him more, because I love Christ with all my heart. So, and I'm sure you do too. So I would like for you guys, after this is over, to sit back and think about that one. Such a powerful statement. I mean, I'm almost speechless trying to explain it to you guys on serving your husband like you would Christ. There's one thing I would like to say as well, that I know that marriages have a lot of issues in it, but what I've learned as well is that the more we serve Christ, the less our problems actually get. So let's say, we're going to be real here. Let's say you have a husband that hangs with his boys all the time, and you want him to become a homebody to a certain degree, and more of a family man. Well, then guess what? God is already on your side. Take that to prayer. Say, God, I want him home, X, Y, Z, and talk to God like he is your best friend, because he should be anyway. And why is my forehead so shiny? Anyway, God will definitely make sure that he's home. I have this thing where I ask my husband stuff, and if I know that it's on point with what God wants as well, because God is a family man, I don't keep arguing with him. I remember one time, I shared this quick story with you guys. My husband was working this job. It was a second job, okay? And we really didn't need the money. I mean, the money was good, don't get me wrong. But he was doing overkill. And I asked him to come home. quit the second job, and he refused. He didn't want to. And when I finally got to my senses, I stopped arguing with him and I started praying, which is another form of just talking to the Lord, your King. And I told him all the reasons I needed for my husband to come home. And the next thing I know is that he called me and said, guess what? You'll never believe it. I said, what? He said, they closed down this job. They're closing it down. And I stood there like, because he answers every prayer. And so, guys, if you would just trust him a little bit more and stop trying to fix it yourself, take your hands up off of it, because I've learned that the more that we dibble and dabble in our problems, the worse it gets, really. The worse it really gets. So I would encourage you gals to just do that and really invite the Lord into your situations when it comes to your marriage. God is all about marriage. He is so rooting for us to stay together, to be happy. He is so rooting for us to keep our family unit with our kids together. He is just on board. So if you want more time with your husband, go tell God. If you want better finances so y'all can do more things, go tell God. If you want your husband to stop cheating on you, go tell God. He got you. But don't give up in the battle, because that's exactly what it will be, a battle. But I promise you, as long as you stick with Christ, then you'll be fine. You'll come out on top, because you already have the victory in every situation. I don't know why I stopped and said that, but I know some of you guys need to hear that. So the next thing, which is the last thing, girls, that I have to say, is that it's very important to control your thought process. Like, who would have thought I would have said that, right? But no, seriously, I learned a valuable lesson in my thought process, because God knows every thought. So whatever your thought process is, like you just say your husband gets on your nerve, you just say in your mind, he is so stupid, or he is retarded, or you know what, I should have left him a long time ago. Whatever, I'm not saying, you think those things, but whatever comes across as negative in your mind, then if it's negative, that's not good. So I want you girls to really focus on checking your thoughts. Keep your thoughts in line, because whatever you're thinking is in your heart. Like, those two are connected. So try to train yourself. And I say train because it is going to be a process. Shutting your mouth is not going to happen overnight. Believe me, I had to wake up and literally say to myself, okay, today I am going to control my mouth. Okay, today I am going to control my thoughts. Okay, today I'm going to let stuff go, just roll off of me. I'm not gonna keep score. So whatever I'm working on, which was one thing usually at a time, I overcame it after a while, and then it'll come back and you have to push it off again until you grow strong in that area. So I've really made it like a daily goal. That is how I did it, and that's how it worked for me. But really keep your thought process very positive. Control your thoughts, cast down your evil thoughts and so forth, but keep practicing it, and then eventually it will get easier and easier by day. I hope this video really inspired you girls to keep fighting in your marriages. God is all about your marriages, your kids being raised by their real parents, their father and their mom. He's all about that. Don't give up. I don't care what's going on. Don't give up. You can do it. I've did it, and you can do it too. You 2 years into it. You may be 10 years into it, and we've hit these plateaus in our marriages where you're like, who is he? Who are you, dude? Like, you are changing. I'm sure he said the same thing about me, but you don't give up on one another. And sure, he could be all crazy and wacko. Go to God first before you make these big choices of divorce and splitting and all of this drama unnecessary, that God can come in and fix it, man. Just have trust. And so I really want to encourage you girls today. I'm very happy I was able to find time to do this video, and I really hope that this will help you all really press on towards the mark, which is Jesus Christ. So I am signing off, And you guys have a good night. I think